Like Jenny.
Okay, so today I'm going to make my ratatouille. It's based off of Chef AJ's oven roasted ratatouille from her book, The Secrets to Ultimate Weight Loss. And it's really just roasted vegetables, but it's really yummy. So it's very versatile. You can use whatever vegetables you have or like, and so that means so you can change it up different times of the year, whatever's available. So today I'm going to use, I've got zucchini and yellow squash and Brussels sprouts and red bell pepper and red onion and carrots and tomato and eggplant and celery and mushrooms. So if there's any of that you're like, I can't have that or I don't like it, just take it out. Okay? And it's really the squash, you kind of want it to be fairly uniform so that you can tell when it's done. Everything else is kind of whatever amounts you want to do. So I didn't really put any amounts on the recipe because it's kind of whatever you like. If you really like one thing and you it's kind of like another thing, use more of what you like and less of what you don't. Any questions so far?
Nope.
Okay. The Brussels sprouts, I'm just trimming the end and pulling off any leaves that look wilty or they've got little spots on them. And I already did most of them, so you don't have to watch me chop them all.
Now you have 7.
Brussels sprouts was a food that we never ate growing up.
Yeah.
But people talk about all the time that they hate them.
Yeah.
So I just thought they were disgusting until I tried them, and I was like,
It's just like cabbage
on-
too. I feel like it's pretty
Depends on
much
how
like
they're
baby
prepared,
cabbage.
probably. Yeah.
I'm sure they could be ruined easily.
I feel
But,
like there's some
like,
on most
roasted,
with
they're
cabbage.
pretty good.
Anything I'd eat
Yeah.
cabbage, I'd eat roasted.
Yeah.
My kids like them.
So one of the first recipes that I demonstrated was roasted
Mm-hmm.
Brussels sprouts.
Mm-hmm.
And so easy.
I love this recipe. I'm really excited about it. The only thing I don't love is like cooking at 400 degrees for 2
I know.
hours, like in the
In
middle
the
of
summer.
summer.
Which was one of the reasons I didn't want to do it at this time of year, except that
You have vegetables at this time of year.
Yeah.
Right. I know, that's the crux. I was like, can I roast this on the grill somehow outside? Can
I bet you could.
Yeah.
Okay. Put it all in some foil and put
I
it in the
have
grill
not
box.
figured that out. I'm not
Yeah.
a grill person, but you
I
I'm
grill
sure you
everything.
could.
I'm like, I'm not turning on this oven in the summertime.
I agree, Barbara.
If your zucchinis get big, do you see them or do you just chop it all up?
Yes. So the one that's in the oven, I actually used really big zucchini for, and so I took the seeds out of those. These
Do you just scoop it out with a
small
spoon
ones-
and then chop it up? Is that what you do?
Say that
Do
again?
you scoop it out with a spoon
Yeah.
and then
Mhm.
chop it up?
Yep. So I have not used eggplant a lot, honestly. A couple of times that I had it before making this recipe, I was like, I don't think I like eggplant.
Yeah,
It has an odd texture and
they cook it right.
Mm-hmm.
it turns brown if you leave it on the counter too long. You know. Anyway, when I stuck it in here, it actually has a really similar texture to the mushrooms, and then I just pretend they're mushrooms. So, we're putting it.
Awesome.
So I like
I
to.
feel like if it's seasoned right or roasted right, that it's better. But it's
Yeah.
a weird one.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
not an
They're
easy
different.
to-
They're not one. It's not one I'm super familiar with, or that I know a lot of ways to make it. Just, Anyway, this is how I do it. I just use
Oh,
my
that's
hands
great.
and
Ew.
break it up a little bit. I promise I washed my hands.
It's gonna get 400
I know.
degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're gonna. Any germs there is, there's gonna be burned to the crisp.
I love summer vegetables. This looks
Either way, I trust you, Katherine.
Then I spread it on the pan, which is
In the oven.
in the oven, And then I usually chop up the tomatoes and sprinkle them and the mushrooms on top.
At the end?
Yeah. Well, right before I stick it in the oven.
Oh.
So I spread all the other vegetables out and then I put the mushrooms and tomatoes on the top.
Is this a second tray that'll have mushrooms and tomatoes, or are you doing them all?
So she's already baking
There's
the ones,
already
'cause
some
they
in the
take
oven
so long to
because
bake.
it takes over an hour to
she'll
cook.
bake that
So
later.
I wanted you to actually be able to taste it
Yeah.
today
Oh.
without being here for 2 hours. Because honestly, this
Yeah.
usually takes me an hour to chop up just all the vegetables.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
I
why
did a lot of the
get
prep
food
when
from
I
you.
got here.
Right.
And then I have some in the oven so that you can taste it today. So the zucchini and squash kind of start to get more clear. They're not. What's the word?
Opaque
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
They're a little more translucent.
Translucent.
Yeah.
More translucent, and so I think these are done. This is the one that doesn't have mushrooms. The other pan has so much on it, it's probably going to take 20 more minutes. So, so we could start eating now. This pan's for Chrissy because it doesn't have any onions or peppers in it.
Oh. She
And
loves
very few tomatoes. So
She makes wholesome food just for me.
Did you already season it all too?
So here's what I do. If you look at the bottom on the serving suggestion, what I do is I get a big bowl, and I really use a big bowl, and I put about a cup of beans in the bottom because, as Heather and I were talking about earlier, when you eat just non-starchy vegetables like this, it's harder to feel full for a long time. So you want to add something that's starchy to your meal so that you stay full longer and you get that satisfied feeling like you got enough to eat. So I usually put beans because they are a good starch and good protein and stuff like that. And then I put a bunch of ratatouille on top. And then there's all these seasonings that I add to it. And I actually use about a cup of beans plus about 3 cups of this, and then all of this. Not just that blend, but I put a tablespoon of flaxseed and 2 teaspoons of nutritional yeast, and then I.
Is that like
all of
a
that.
vehicle for the spice? Is that what those are? Is it kind of like a binder sort of for all the, or do they have flavor as well?
They all have flavor too.
Like the nutritional yeast and the flaxseed is what I was thinking. Yeah.
And these are actually the spices that Dr. Greger recommends that people eat every day. So I'm like, what better way to incorporate all of these? And this is the amounts that he recommends that people eat for good health. So I usually put all those spices on, and then a drizzle of balsamic vinegar. I also have some other vinegars here if you want to try. There's a glaze, which means that the balsamic vinegar has been reduced, and so it's sweeter and thicker. There's citrus champagne vinegar, and there's a honey jalapeno vinegar. And then there's this, I don't know how to say it. Does anybody know how to say this? Tahine? I don't know.
Tahini, yeah.
That I like with it too. And then I just stir it all together and eat it. So that's how I like to eat it. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions.